Walt Disney World is full of all sorts of fun and exciting experiences, but there are a few things I recommend you not do on your Walt Disney World vacation. Now, this list includes a few things that I personally recommend you not do at Walt Disney World. It does not include things like Disney courtesies or the different rules in the parks. That's a totally different topic. These are things that I probably wouldn't do again at Walt Disney World. First up, I recommend you not stay at the All-Star Resorts during the Pop Warner Championship. It takes place in the first weekend of December, and literally thousands of football players and cheerleaders descend upon Walt Disney World, especially at those all-star resorts. It's a great program for many kids, and if you're a chaperone or a parent, you will probably have a lot of fun, but for me personally, the noise alone at the resort will always keep me away from it. If noise doesn't bother you and you like to be a part of those celebrations first thing in the morning, by all means you are going to love it. But I remember I went to the All-Stars like 5-6 years ago. It was during that Pop Warner Championship, and I can tell you right now, I'm never doing that again. I'm pretty sure that was the last time I stayed at the All-Star Resorts. They are good, but I personally prefer Pop Century or Art of Animation just because of the convenience, and the price difference isn't enough for me to go to the All-Star Resorts. As a side note, Pop Century and Art of Animation will see some of those crowds from the Pop Warner Championship when it happens, but it's not nearly as many as the All-Star Resorts. To show you how strongly I feel about this, if I was given the choice between staying at the All-Star Resorts or an off-site resort during that Pop Warner Championship weekend, I would stay off-site. I would go through the hassle of the rental car and everything just simply so I don't have to deal with the noise and the crowds. That's me. It may be perfect for you, but for me, never again. Pop Warner Championship weekend, never again. Another mistake that I've made in the past and told myself I would never do it again is to get in line for an attraction or a show with not enough time to spare to see a fireworks show or another nighttime celebration. Let me know if this sounds familiar. Let's say you go to an attraction that usually has a long wait time, like Space Mountain, and you look and it says 45-minute wait, and you know you have an hour and a half before those fireworks go off, and you say, I've got plenty of time. You stand in line, you lose track of time, and by the time you get out of Space Mountain and you've ridden it and it was fun, you have 10 minutes before the fireworks go off. That happened to me. I ended up seeing the fireworks from Tomorrowland on that night. It was nice, but I would have preferred to see it with a view of Cinderella Castle. I'll know for next time, at least I hope I remember. Just keep in mind you will need extra time to find a spot for those fireworks shows in the evenings, or even a parade in the middle of the day, so leave extra time. Another mistake I have made over and over and over again is to try and rush out with the crowds as soon as that fireworks show is over at the end of the night. We've done it a few times together. The fireworks end, you turn around, make your way down Main Street USA with 100,000 of your closest friends. I promised myself a while back that I would stop doing this, and it's something I've got to continuously remind myself of. Just give it an extra 10 or 15 minutes, let the crowds clear out, and then walk down a relatively empty Main Street USA. It's a much more relaxing way to leave the Magic Kingdom. I do realize that the lines for the buses will be longer if you wait that time, but to me it is worth it, and if you wait an extra 30 or 45 minutes after that fireworks show, not necessarily when the park is closed, but just enough time for those crowds to clear out just a bit, by the time you make it to the bus station, there's going to be relatively fewer people in front of you. One mistake that I know many friends feel like they make is booking a Fastpass for a ride that's usually a walk-on. If you have done this, don't feel bad. I've done it too. It all comes down to the crowds and the time of year. The same ride during different times of year can be the difference between a walk-on ride and a 45-minute or an hour wait. One example of this is Journey into the Imagination with Figment. Most of the time during the slow season, Journey into the Imagination is a walk-on or maybe 5-minute wait, maybe less than that, just because it's not as popular as it used to be. I have seen Journey into the Imagination as a walk-on during March, September, November, and even sometimes during the middle of the summer. But during peak times like Christmas or New Year's, the lines can be much longer than you may expect. I was shocked to see a 45-minute wait and a line that went around the building for Journey into the Imagination during New Year's. It's true that booking a Fastpass for a ride that also has a walk-on standby line at the same time does feel a little bit silly, but that being said, I still recommend you utilize every single Fastpass slot that you can. If it is available to you, I would book it just in case. You never know. It's better to be safe than sorry. The next one is a very common mistake that my family family tends to make when we go to Walt Disney World, and that's to book too many dining reservations. This is super common in my family, especially when we get the free dining plan. We would end up booking Ohana, Cape May Cafe, Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater, Yak and Yeti, the list goes on, and we'd get something for maybe breakfast, some counter service for lunch, and then another big sit-down meal for dinner. And by the second to last or last evening, we were so full it really made us feel uncomfortable. You know how much I love those table service restaurants at Walt Disney World, and getting those advanced dining reservations is highly recommended, but make sure you don't overdo it like my family sometimes does. Make sure maybe you book one breakfast one day, and then the next day maybe book a dinner. Don't book a breakfast at Chef Mickey's one day, and then that evening get a buffet breakfast at Ohana, just as an example. Make sure you pace yourself so that you have enough room. Not only will you feel better at the end of your meal, it's better for you. That way you're eating the amount that you want and that you're used to and that your stomach is used to, and you don't overdo it. Now on to clothing, and a mistake that I have made more times than I care to admit is not bring the appropriate clothing with you to Walt Disney World. On a Walt Disney World adventure of the past, I remember I got there and I was ready for a magical adventure, and it was the next morning, and I opened my bag and realized that in my luggage I did not pack any socks. I only had the socks that I was wearing. I did go out and buy more socks, but it just feels so silly when you are not packed appropriately for the weather. One trick I am starting to learn after several experiences at Walt Disney World: when you come from the Washington DC area or any other colder area in the United States and you fly to Orlando, it's cold where you're leaving from, but it's warm once you get there. One trick that friends have recommended to me for the longest time, and I'm finally learning to do it: pack shorts in your carry-on. That way, when your luggage makes it to your room with the Magical Express several hours later, you still have the opportunity to change into shorts or something more comfortable for that first day. In addition, don't forget a change of clothes in case the weather turns. When we were opening Toy Story Land at Hollywood Studios, there was a downpour, and even though I did have the umbrella, my shoes got soaked. So I ended up going back to the resort and changing. And if I didn't have a change, extra clothes just ready to go just in case, I would have been very uncomfortable. So make sure you have extra clothes just in case. In addition to that, I also recommend you bring a pair of flip-flops in your carry-on throughout the day. For this specific reason, it may downpour during the middle of the day, but you can just switch into flip-flops so you're not walking around in wet shoes and socks during the middle of the day, which will definitely lead to discomfort. One very specific thing that I am never going to do again is stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge, Kidani, or Jumbo House in a standard view. I will always choose the Savannah view. Several years ago, my family and I tried Animal Kingdom Lodge Kidani Village for the very first time. We absolutely fell in love with it. We had the Savannah view. It was unbelievably amazing. We decided to go back a few years later as a family, and we said, you know what, let's save some money this time and get that standard view. That was a huge mistake. On that first trip to Kidani Village with the full Savannah view, it was truly breathtaking. Even if the animals weren't ready early in the morning, just the view alone was amazing. Then the second trip, we went back, had that standard view, didn't like it, and halfway through updated to the partially obstructed view, and what a world of difference. I would never stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge or Kidani Village again without the full Savannah view. It's not worth it. Those are a few things I will not be doing again at Walt Disney World. Let me know your thoughts. Do you love the All-Star Resorts during the Pop Warner Championship, or love to rush out of the Magic Kingdom with the crowds? Or maybe you really do enjoy Animal Kingdom Lodge with the standard view. That is okay. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want to add anything to my list, perfect time in the comments as well. Thank you so much for being a part of the magic with me. Until next time, have a magical day.